All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me give y'all the Hatters bracket. It is March Madness, one of the greatest times of the year for sports fans. There ain't nothing like March Madness. Man, I wish I was in Vegas right now. I know it is so popping during March Madness in Vegas. I was lucky enough to go out there for 2 weeks one time during March Madness, and it was madness for real. Oh my goodness. So let's go ahead and jump into the bracket. I'm going to give y'all some upsets. I do believe there's going to be quite a few upsets this year. So let's go ahead and fill out the bracket together, and I'll tell you a little bit on some of the games and how I feel and give you my upsets and who I think is going to win the whole thing. Auburn, number 1 seed, they're going to beat the play-in team, no problem. Louisville, Creighton, that's going to be a really close game, I think, but I like Louisville. Michigan, UC San Diego. If Michigan wasn't so hot right now, this would be one of my upsets. UC San Diego can light it up from 3, so they have all the recipe to pull an upset, but I think Michigan's just a little too much for them. But the next game is going to be one of my upsets. And I want to go ahead and say, most people know I'm a diehard Florida Gator fan. I'm an SEC guy, but I'm going to be straight up with y'all. I believe there's going to be upsets. I think I'm going to pick quite a few that are going to be upsets over the SEC. But, I mean, as we go through it, we'll see. But I believe Texas A&M is good, but I just really like Yale to pull the first upset right here. I like Yale's team. They play that good fundamental basketball. Texas A&M, they're like middle of the road. They kind of fall off, but they're more a defending team, and I think Yale has a great chance to pull the upset there. So that's going to be my first upset, as y'all see. Ole Miss, I think, will win. Iowa State, that Iowa State team's a really good team, y'all. I believe they'll win pretty comfortably. I like Marquette against New Mexico. That'll be a good game. And Michigan State, they'll go ahead and get the dub there. So that's my South region right there. That's who I got. The only upset I have in the South, really, and yeah, it's the only one, is Yale. So let's go down to the West, where my Florida Gators are. The Gators, I just want to tell y'all a little bit about them. Florida has a very good chance to make it to the Final Four, if not win the whole thing. And the reason I say that, if you don't know much about them, I've watched them play a lot this year. I know a lot about the team. They have 3 upperclassmen guards. They have tons of leadership in the backcourt. They got 3 guys that can light it up, 3 guys that can drive. Between Clayton, Martin, and Richard, they got 3 really good perimeter players. And then inside, they have a strong 4 to 5 man rotation with a lot of height. When they got Micah Handalogging back, man, that's a 7-footer coming back. You can't teach size, and he's good at passing. Alex Condon, he's pretty much the starting power forward. He has come into his own. Really great team. Florida's going to be hard to beat. If they do go super cold from outside, that's the way to beat Florida, or if they start turning the ball over. They were struggling with free throws, but here down the stretch in the SEC tournament, they look like they were starting to get a little bit better at the free throw line. UConn, Oklahoma. This is UConn all day to me. I do not like the Oklahoma team. Memphis, Colorado State. I'm going to go ahead and take another upset here. I believe Colorado State has the ability to win this game. Going out on a limb on this one, but I think Colorado State will win this one. Maryland's going to win. Maryland is a really good team. Maryland could give some people trouble. I'm going to go ahead and pick another upset here and go against another SEC team. I know I'm shocking y'all. I'm going to go Drake. I'm not really sold on the Missouri team, and I've seen Drake play a couple of times. And I think Missouri might overlook Drake and not really give them enough credit. They are a really good coached basketball team. So I'm going to take Drake in an upset there. Texas Tech will win. Kansas, Arkansas, I've went back and forth on this game. Kansas has looked really good at times this year and really bad at times this year. I'm going to take a little bit of an upset here, and I'm going to take Arkansas. And then St. John's with Rick Pitino looks really good. So I'm going to put St. John's over there in that bracket. And that's what we're looking like in the West. So let's shoot over here to the Midwest. And we got Houston. They're going to win. No reason to really talk about it. Georgia, Gonzaga. Man, Georgia got Mike White. Used to be a Gator coach. Don't believe him at all. I'm going to take Gonzaga there. Don't sleep on McNeese. Don't sleep on McNeese State at all. But I really like the Clemson team. They're very gutty. They play good defense. They beat Duke. I watched that game when they beat Duke, and they shut down. Man, Cooper Flagg was like he had a bad game, but I like Clemson to go ahead and win. Clemson is a team that could give some people some problems going on. High Point, Purdue, I just think Purdue's too much. Illinois playing the winner of Texas and Xavier. I think Xavier will win that game between Texas and Xavier. So I think it'll be Illinois versus Xavier, and I'm going to take Illinois. Kentucky versus Troy. I think Kentucky will hold that one. UCLA, Utah State. These are two teams I really ain't know much about, but I'm going to go ahead and take the better seed here. I'm going to take UCLA. And then I got to take Tennessee. I hate Tennessee. So that's who I got in the Midwest coming out of the first round. And let's go to the East. And now we got Duke. Duke's a no-brainer. Duke's, not to spoil it, they're gonna make the Elite Eight for sure. Go ahead and put it that far. Mississippi State, Baylor. I haven't really watched Baylor play. I've seen Mississippi State play a couple of games. I think I'm gonna take Baylor in this one. I'm gonna go against the SEC again. I know I'm probably pissing a lot of people off that are my SEC people, but it'll be all right. Liberty, Oregon. Liberty's a good team. If you want to take another underdog in the first round, they're not a bad one. I think Oregon will win, but Liberty could give them trouble. Akron is another team. Akron, I bet on them a couple times earlier in the year. They're very good from 3-point. Arizona's going to be too much for them, but that is another game I think that will be close all the way to the end. So maybe if you want to run like a 2-team teaser and take the points with Liberty and Akron, that wouldn't be that bad of an idea. This is going to be another upset. I like the VCU team. The VCU team is very dangerous. They could be your Cinderella this year. I think they'll beat BYU. Wisconsin will win. St. Mary's and Vanderbilt. I'm actually going to go against the SEC again here, and I'm going to go St. Mary's. I think that they're good on both sides of the court. Vanderbilt's been up and down, and then Alabama will win. So that right there is going to be the East region. Let's shoot back over here to the South and get into the round of 32. So we got Auburn, Louisville. Auburn is legit, y'all. Auburn is a very good team. A lot of people had them picked as the number one overall seed pretty much all season. They're going to be a hard knockout. Louisville ain't got enough for them. Michigan and Yale, this is where Yale's Cinderella run will end. And we're going to have a Sweet 16 matchup of Auburn versus Michigan. My buddy Cook, he'd be excited to know that I got his boys going to the Sweet 16. Ole Miss, Iowa State. I'm going to go Iowa State here. Marquette, Michigan State. I'm going to go Michigan State. So Iowa State, Michigan State, whereas who I have going right there to that Sweet 16 matchup. Let's go down to the West. Like I said, I don't want to go into too many details till we start to get to the Final Four and stuff like that, because a lot of these should be no-brainers. This right here, just so y'all know I'm a diehard Gator fan. This game scares me. We've always had trouble with UConn. I'm going to take the Gators, but if Florida sleeps on UConn, they could have an early exit. That UConn at moments has looked really good. Now, other times they've looked bad, but Florida better not sleep on them, because if they bust out against UConn, there'll be a lot of pissed off Gator fans, myself included, if they lose that one. Colorado State, Maryland. I'm going to go Maryland. I like that Maryland team, to be honest with y'all. Drake, Texas Tech. This is where I'm going to continue the Cinderella run for one of them. I'm going to take Drake going that far. Arkansas, St. John's. St. John's is a really good team. They got the coaching legend, Rick Pitino, and they'll go ahead and win that one. So in that side, in the West, in the Sweet 16, I'm going to have the Gators going against Maryland and Drake going against St. John's. So let's go back over here to the Midwest. Houston, Gonzaga. Houston's just too good of a defensive team. They're going to win that one. Clemson, Purdue. I told y'all I really like that Clemson team. I'm going to take Clemson to beat Purdue and come out of that and match up against Houston in that game. Illinois, Kentucky. I think Kentucky will be a little too much, and we're going to have a SEC Sweet 16 matchup, Tennessee versus Kentucky. They've already played twice this year. They're going to play a third time. So let's jump off into Duke. Will continue. They'll beat Baylor. No problem there. Oops, sorry. And Arizona, Oregon. I like Arizona. Another Pac-12 matchup right there. This is where I'm going to continue another Cinderella. My Cinderella in this one is actually going to be VCU. And I believe that Alabama will beat St. Mary's. I believe this will be a very good game, though. But I believe Alabama will be a little too much for them. And let's switch back over here. So let's go through the Sweet 16 matchups. Auburn versus Michigan. This is going to be a great game. My buddy Cook's going to be pumped up, yelling "Go Blue!" But that's where it's going to end, brother. Auburn's just a little too much for y'all this year. But what a run by Michigan! And after Auburn beats Michigan, they'll be playing another Michigan team, in my opinion. They'll be playing the Michigan State and Tom Izzo, another great coach. It's so hard to keep Tom Izzo out of the Elite Eight. So that's going to be that one. And now we'll go down to Florida, Maryland. I'll tell you what, maybe it's just because I'm a Gator fan. I'm waiting for something bad to happen. Florida is not getting an easy run into this thing, but no one really is. There's a lot of good teams. There's a lot of parity in college basketball this year. Maryland's going to give Florida all they can handle, but Florida is going to go ahead and get past that. Drake's Cinderella run will end with St. John's. And unfortunately, as y'all are seeing, you're starting to see a lot of ones and twos in there. I just think they're the better teams. So let's shoot over here to this bracket. And Houston Clemson. I believe Clemson is going to shock everybody. Everybody has Houston going to the Final Four that I've seen. I think Clemson's going to upset them. I think that's going to be one of the biggest upsets looking back because everybody has Houston going to the Final Four. And in this one right here, I'm actually going to, man, this is such a good game right here. But I'm going to lean towards Tennessee there. I'm going to go there. Yep, that's going to be the Elite Eight matchup there. It's going to be Clemson at number 5 versus Tennessee number 2. And now let's go up to the top bracket. Duke, Arizona. Long as Cooper Flagg is back, that's one thing I do want to say as I go this bracket. I'm pretending, or in my mind, I'm filling out my bracket thinking Cooper Flagg's going to be there playing. So Duke will beat Arizona, and this is my Cinderella, my big Cinderella. VCU is going to win right there. I like VCU. I think they're a really good team, and they will upset the Alabama Crimson Tide, and they'll go on to play the Dukies. So let's shoot back over here. We ain't got to go too far now. I think I might be able to pull them all in right here. Nope, can't quite get there, I don't think. Oh, yeah, we can. Not really. So let's go to the top matchups first. Auburn, Michigan State. Man, this is going to be such a good game right here. And I would take Michigan State, but I mean, you're talking about two great coaches here. Bruce Pearl at Auburn and Tom Izzo at Michigan State. I just don't think Michigan State has enough to get past Auburn. Auburn will make it to the Final Four. And then we'll go ahead. We'll stay up here on this side. Duke versus VCU. This is where VCU's run's going to end. I don't think they have enough for the Duke team. But what a great run by VCU if they make it that far like I think they will. So we'll have Duke over there. And let's go down just a little bit right here so we can see the matchups better on the screen. We got Florida, St. John's, Clemson, Tennessee. I will start with the Clemson, Tennessee game. I believe Clemson is still my Cinderella. I just believe that they're the team that's going to shock a lot of people and make that deep run. So I'm going to put Clemson in the Final Four playing Duke. Shout out to one of my buddies, Cheek. I don't know if he'll ever get to see this, but if he watches this, yes, I got your Clemson Tigers making a Cinderella run all the way to the Final Four. Florida, St. John's, like I said, if the bracket plays out like it does and Florida plays all these teams, man, they're going to be so battle tested by the time they get to the Final Four. This will be definitely an earned Final Four, and I do believe they will win. So we'll go to the Alamo Dome in the Final Four, and this is the Final Four I got. Auburn, number 1 seed, Florida, number 1 seed, Duke, number 1 seed, and Clemson, a 5 seed in the Final Four. And I'm going to start over here with Duke and Clemson. It's going to be an ACC matchup versus a SEC matchup. I watched Duke play Clemson, and I just believe if Cooper Flagg's 100% and he plays better, I think that's a revenge game, and I believe Duke goes to the national championship. Auburn, Florida. This is a situation where Florida beat Auburn earlier in the year. These two teams are really good, really good. I'm gonna take Florida's 3 guards and their bigs. I just think they're a very complete team. I'm gonna take Florida to go to the national championship. And this right here, growing up, has always been that game. Florida Duke. Florida, when I first started watching in the late 80s, early 90s, we were not really considered a basketball school. Duke was the one. They had, not to go back too far, Danny Ferry, Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, all these greats going up all the way through Jay Williams. I mean, Duke they are a basketball school. They've always been a basketball school. It's hard for me to go against Duke. So, heck no. Florida Gators, national champs. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Gators.